I'm going to make this statement again. If we want to save the climate, stop this consumerism for the holidays. Thinking about the paper that's used to wrap all these presents come from China. These lights, that would hang up. Well, we need to conserve electricity, but we hang up our lights and everything like that. It's marketing. So these utilities get an end of the year bonus because we're freaking just needlessly spending on freaking these lights to decorate. And maybe I should actually look into this because I can't recall off the top of my head what motivated me to think about this, but it's just the jewelers, like the whole marketing scheme behind jewelry and stuff back in the early 1900s. These luxury items back in the day, freaking the lights, those were luxury items. Now everyone had lights. And I just seen this thing in England. Their homes are the utility bills are gonna go up and everything because I guess this deal didn't go through. I can't really recall because I started thinking about like that's exactly what happens. When Biden decides to start taxing these bigger corporations more money, well, all that's gonna do is freaking pay the government back for the money that they're given for these social services that goes back into these businesses, and so it helps ward off the economic collapse. And the thing is that these microcents that are being passed through this little triangle of operations, they're being siphoned off by these other entities, by the bigwigs at the corporations, by the politicians, and like I said, they're using it. I mean, because the tax money, the stimulus money that came out, mom and pop shops were closed. No, small businesses were closed, but we're able to go to these big giant warehouses, these box stores, and spend our money, while the local economy suffered. The virus isn't against us physically. It's the virus is about the economy and how local operations were becoming too competitive for these giants, and so they've controlled it. And so all this money that they received during this pandemic has been able to fund their research and development to keep them one step ahead of local economies. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, I've traveled the country and I've seen so many just dead streets, no businesses up or anything, and it's gotten worse since COVID. I was in Albuquerque last year, went to frickin' South Carolina, went to Louisiana, went to frickin' Virginia Beach, went up to frickin' the mountains in Winchester. Now I'm down here in Roanoke, and I see it. Like this is a huge problem. All these, like the local everything has just kind of been wiped off, and it's like we're starting new, and people are being isolated, like they're separated, and I mean, there's so many damn things that are just being impacted, but by this weaponized virus. I mean, it's a political weapon at the very least. At the very least, a biological weapon, like military weapon, allegedly. I can't confirm nor deny that. But what I do know is that there's been an attack on our country, and is this what equality looks like? just wipe the slate clean. And then people that are just trying to pay their bills, that are actually, like managing to keep their heads above the water because they prepared for this, they're the ones that are actually suffering because they don't qualify for a lot of these relief efforts, these relief bills and relief money. They're just right out of threshold. Hell, I'm a freaking 100% service connected disabled freaking combat vet. And I couldn't get any help when I was freaking going through last year with being homeless and stuff like that. There was no help because I made too much money. I can't get legal help because I made too much money for all this crap that I went through in Albuquerque. I couldn't find any lawyers. Like that because like that's the damn thing is, and I freaking I dropped the ball on that. I mean, I trusted somebody. I trusted a lawyer and stuff. But that's what I'm saying is that, I'm speaking from experience. And it's like, the good people of America are suffering, and they're just getting to the point, like, well, what's it even matter? I mean, everyone has such a piss poor attitude anymore because everyone's struggling or, being locked up inside. And now we've got this freaking Delta thing coming around, and it's going to, intensify these things and really just create a lot of social dilemmas, and especially because people are spending so much time on media, anti-social media, their thought processes are being disrupted. Excuse me. They're not actually interacting with people. They're texting and such. And people become very freaking toxic. And there's this inner turmoil. Or, and maybe they get off on freaking trolling other people too. Just bring them down. There's a lot that goes on with this, this whole thing. But, back to the point, the taxes, if the government was officially spending money, the money that we put into the government would be, we'd be able to see it. We won't have to worry about our taxes and stuff. And that's why I say, we pay, there should only be one tax, and that's when we use our money. We buy gas, freaking taxes. That's how we pay for the roads and maintenance and stuff. Yeah, it's going to cost more money, but the thing is, we're paying it, this money that's going into a project that's going into infrastructure. They shouldn't have to be passing these infrastructure bills. Where was that money? There was money allocated towards these things, but where did it go? Into these freaking corrupt politicians. This is what I was saying back in when I was in Albuquerque and stuff too. Because the land is actually shifting. They're built on a little hill, and after 50 years, things are beyond within their tolerances anymore. And that's why there was a lot of water main breaks and pipes and things like that. Messed up foundations because freaking things move. And especially with rain, and it creates. We're putting these basically boulders. When you build a house, you're building something in the side, and that just creates its own little. I mean, if you put your foot down in the middle, of a little rain stream, it veers off, it moves, and that's the thing. So we've created these urban water systems, which anyways. The money was there. The money was there. And now it's not. All this money that, where does it go? This is what freaking pisses me off, because there's a greater conspiracy here. I mean, and it's about our money, because we're stock in bonds. We're going to hold them, how labor, goods and services, goods, that's a product. Services, that's labor. That makes money. Time and labor. That's money. Where does money come from? Time and labor, natural capital, raw resources that are that we use our technology to create these products that make our day-to-day lives easier. And so technology, time, labor, raw resources, natural capital like trees and then you have iron ore and stuff. And then technology. But we're actually at the point now where we have technology. We have time and labor and technology. And so there's this whole little, like, we can bypass a lot of things. Yes, because we already have these resources available and such. And so it's still that we need them, but we've created like a little arch, in the whole diagram. It almost looks like a freaking DNA code if you actually look at it. Half a helix. Like a DNA strand. If you reverse it, yeah. Anyways, the tax code needs to go away. Income tax, that's bullshit. That's taxing our time and labor. And the government's too oversized. And the government is basically, it's creating money that's selling it back to itself. It's creating money. And but it's not backed by anything. It's social programs. And that we have way too many of. It's oversized. And this money goes, like I said, back into these big technocrats, these big corporations. And then it goes back to the government. And then, and we just keep on getting more of our time and labor taken away. That's why we're enslaved. We're debt slaves. And sorry, I went on a little freaking tangent there, and I might have lost, my way a little bit, but just pissed, man. Just pissed.